Today we'll be going over the Algebra 2, Chapter 2 sample test. We'll be doing absolute value equations and inequalities. For my purposes, I'll be doing mostly solved by graphing. If your class is more algebraic, see one of your other teachers. So let's start with this example at first. X minus 5 equals 8. So what you're looking for here is you want to go into the calculator, the menu, you want to go into graph. You're going to type the first one in, which is absolute value of x minus 5. Okay, that's located under, absolute value is located under option, num, absolute value. Okay, make sure you put parentheses around the part that is an absolute value. Okay, all right, so it's x minus 5. All right, and then the other line is 8. And if I draw, I get something like this. Now you see, I can't see my graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix my window. One way to do that is go to Window, underneath Standard. That's the abbreviation for Standard. Hit Exit, and now draw it. I can sort of see it. I can always move my graph over, okay, so I can see it that way. One possibility is zooming out, and then you hit Enter, and I can see it. So where my answers are these 2 points, okay, and I'm going to find those. And I do that through GSolve, intersection, okay, -3, 8, 13, 8. -3, 8, 13, 8. All right, so -3, 8, and 13, 8. Now, for my answers, I'm looking for x equals -3 and x equals 13. That is my final answer, okay? Now, as far as the graph goes, these points help you graph. -3 over 8 up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, okay? And then 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 8 as well, okay? The other point you want to get is the anchor point, which we know that's going to be at 5. So basically what's happening is that's connected to that, all right? And then going across, that's the equation y equals 8. And there's my graph example, okay? Moving down to number 2, all right, I'm going to take the same procedure, relatively speaking, all right? I'm going to go back into my calculator, I'm going to exit, all right? I'm going to go over to this, I'm going to have 2, actually let me delete this whole thing, let me exit out of here, delete, okay, option, num, absolute value, I've got 2 plus 3x, alright, the next line is going to be x minus 3, and I'm going to draw, alright, and as you can see there's no solution because I have no intersection, okay, it would need to either pass through there to have an answer. So for here, this is no solution, okay? Because plainly speaking, I've got something that looks like this, all right? Sort of a rough sketch, but that's going to be a no solution, does not intersect, okay? Moving down to number 3, all right? What you're going to want to do, all right, as I saw, the first 2 examples were very nice. Absolute value set equal to something, absolute value set equal to something. What we're going to want to do when we get a problem like 3 is we're going to want to isolate it. We want to get that absolute value by itself. The reason why we want to do that is it's easier to graph the anchor point if there's nothing around it. It makes the graph a lot simpler as well. So what I want to do is I want to get the 1/2 away and the 1. I'm going to subtract 1 here. Okay? Now, what happens here is I can only subtract to that 3 because they're like terms. So I got x minus 4 equals 1/2 times the absolute value of x minus 7. Now, pretty simply, to get rid of the 1/2, all right, I can divide both of these by 1/2. And what I'm going to do, okay, I don't put parentheses around my fraction. There's a 1 there, okay? All right, so if you need to, all right, in your calculator, all right, I'm going to go back to menu, and I'm going to do some basic math. All right, 1 divided by 1/2, okay, would give me 2. So that's going to be 2x. All right. Then I'm going to get -4 divided by 1/2. Okay, that's how you would put that in. It is also -8. Okay, and I got that set equal to x minus 7. All right, absolute value of x minus 7. So when I go into my calculator to graph, that's what I'm going to graph. So I'm going to go back into menu. I'm going to go to graph. I'm going to delete this. All right, first line is going to be 2x minus 8. Okay, second line, I'm going to delete this. Option, num, absolute value, x minus 7. And if I graph that, here's what I got, okay? And as you can see, there's one intersection point. All right, I'm going to find that intersection. G-solve intersection 5, 2. Okay, 5, 2 is my intersection point. My answer is x equals 5. Okay, now I have to graph this. Okay, now what's nice is x minus 7 means my anchor point's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and I can go, I know a couple of things. I know it's going to pass through 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Okay, so I know that at the very minimum I'm going this way. All right, 1, 2. All right, because I've got no number in front, I know 1, 1, 2, 2. All right, so that's part of it. My line of 2x minus 8. I know this is one of the points. Remember, we need 2 points to make a line. My y-intercept is negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and if I connect those points, okay, I have a graph. There's a lot of ways to do it. You could use the slope to do it. Try to use the points that you have. Okay, so there's my solution of x equals 5. That's what I would get for an answer. Okay, all right, moving on. All right, this question asks us to solve algebraically. I'm going to solve it graphically. Okay, what you need to do is isolate here. So I'm going to get this 3 away by dividing both of these by 3. So what I'm left with is the absolute value of x minus 1 equals 2/3 x plus 3. Okay, from a calculator standpoint, if you did, let me go back to the menu. All right, if you do 2 divided by 3, f to d, it turns that into 2/3. Okay, once again, I'm going to go ahead and find the intersection of this. All right, I'm going to go into menu, I'm going to go to graph. Okay, I'm going to clear this out. All right, I got option. All right, first thing I'm going to type in is x minus 1. All right, next thing I'm going to type in, I'm going to delete this. All right, I'm going to type 2/3. Now, how you type the fraction is 2 divided by 3. Okay, 2 divided by 3 gives you that. Put the x on the outside, the plus the 3. All right, I'm going to draw, and as you can see, I have 2 intersection points here. All right, so I'm going to find those. G-solve intersection. One is negative 1.2, comma 2.2. Okay. The other one is 12, 11. All right, that's a very big one, 12, 11. All right, once again, my answers from this are x equals negative 1.2 and x equals 12. All I care about are the x's. All right, all I care about are the x's. All right, so I'm going to graph this. So I'm going to go ahead and graph these 2 points. All right, that will help me. Negative 1.2, comma 2.2. Negative 1.2, about 2.2 would be about there. All right, the other one would be 12, 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so I'm somewhere about right here. So my line goes through those 2. All right. I also know that my vertex or my anchor point is at 1, 0. So I know it's got to pass through this and pass through that. And there's my answer. Okay. In this case, I use my intersection points for each part of the V. I also use that to connect my line. So that is my answer. Okay. Let me go on to the next one. All right. Graphing the inequalities. Just like the equations, what we want to do is make sure we're isolated. So in this case, what I want to do is I want to add 8 over here. Okay, so I've got the absolute value of x plus 2 is less than 1. Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to graph this both here and there. All right, so when I go in to graph it, all right, I'm going to do exit. All right, I'm going to go up and graph x plus 2. All right, graph x plus 2 on one line. All right, on the other line, I'm going to graph 1. Okay, now I can put the inequalities in here as well. All right, now the way you put the inequalities in here, almost think of this like 2 separate graphs. Think of this like x plus 2, all right, less than y, 1 greater than y. Okay, so basically you almost like you're splitting it into two parts there. All right, so when I go up to this one, what I got to look at is, well, in this one, the amount of the inequality is eating the y, so I'm going to change the type. Okay, I'm going to go over to arrow. I'm doing y is greater than, so I'm going to select that and hit enter. Okay, let me go back to this one. All right, I also want to make that y less than, so that type is y less than. Okay, all right, enter. All right, now I'm going to zoom in, or I'm going to get my window back. Window standard, enter, draw. Okay. Let me see if I can zoom in and see it a little bit better. No, hold on. Let me draw. Okay, let me zoom in, enter. Okay. For some reason that didn't graph for me. All right. Let's figure out what I'm doing incorrectly there. One thing I do know is when I make the graph, all right, it's going to be at -2. All right, so I'm going to go up 1. All right, here's one line. Okay, up 1. All right, here's the other line. Okay, so we know that if it's shaded above, all right, and then I've got my line of 1 going right here. Okay, and since it's going to be y is greater than, I'm going to be above, which means I'm going to be in this thing right here. All right, now, just like the last examples, I want to find the intersection points. So what I'm going to do when I do that is I'm going to want to, all right, I'm going to draw, I'm going to find the intersection, G-solve intersection. -3, 1 is an intersection point. Okay, and that's right here. All right. Also, the other point is going to be -1, 1. All right. So on my graph, as you can see, since I shaded inside the V, because remember, if it's y is greater than, I'm shading above. If it's y is less than, I'm shading below, less than or equal to. Okay. Either way. Okay. So that meant I shaded in here. Okay, for my common area, all right? And what that means on here is I got -3, -1. You always put the smaller number here, bigger number, okay? Since I've got this, that's going to be an open circle, and I'm going to shade on the inside, okay? And what that means is if I were to pick out, let's say, a -2 and put that in there, that'd be -2 plus 2 would be 0. That would be less than 1, okay? So that's an example of that graph. And on your calculators, it will even show you the common shaded area. Okay. Let me check what kind of time we got left. Okay, got about 2 minutes. Okay. I'm going to continue the rest of the sample test on the next video.